Hey, everybody, welcome to the Achieve Your Dream Summit. For those of you who've been watching other videos, I'm sure you're excited, and you're going to be excited about this one too. This is Miss Pamela Cowan. I have the privilege of calling her Pam, yes, and she's going to be talking to us today about a lot of stuff, and it's going to help this. And I know this needs a lot of help. So I'm going to give you a little bio on Miss Pam. She is a speaker, soon to be author, certified registered safety professional, and neurochange master trainer. I think we'll hear more about that. And founder of Build Resilience Resilience at Work, where she mentors leaders to avoid burnout, push past plateaus, and build resilience. Before founding Build Resilience, Pamela worked for 20 years in the area of occupational and psychological health and safety in numerous industries. She taught at the University of SIAST in Saskatchewan. Now her mission is to bring more awareness of the impact and the potential the brain has in business. Woo! And so, without further ado, I'm going to ask that all-important question, since the theme is Achieve Your Dream. I'm going to ask that all-important question. Miss Pam Cowan, what were you born to do?
Oh, what I was born to do. I feel as though this is exactly what I was born to do.
Woo-hoo!
This, yes. I teach on purpose. It is, and there, I love that phrase, because that's the one of the very first things that I help people to actually identify in their lives is their purpose. The two most important things, the two most important days of our lives, the day you were born and the day that you find out
Find
your
out
purpose.
why. I use that
Yes.
too. Yes,
Yes.
good.
But the thing is that I think it goes one step further. And that's what I want to help people to do. And that is to step into who you are. All too often, we go and we seek out, we want to know why. Simon Sinek said we have to start with why. Yes, but the thing is, all too often we go about finding why in the wrong way.
True.
We find, oh, I had a traumatic experience in my life, and so I need to share this message with people. That may not be your purpose. You might have said, I feel like I have a message to share, but is that really what's going to give you, and it is actually, there is a term for it, flow, is that really going to give you that sense of that loss of time, that loss of place, that feeling that you are one with what you're doing, that passion that exceeds time, space. You ever been so engrossed in a task, with yourself or with someone else, that everything else just disappeared. You were just like one with it, and it was just part of you and what you were doing. And the other ways that we seek passion is, I want to be the next Tony Robbins, because we want to have what Tony Robbins has. We want the result. So so that's what we strive for, is that result, thinking that that's your purpose. I worked in the financial industry for 5 years and had the hardest time trying to figure out, why am I doing this? Well, I knew why. I mean, I had a powerful story in that my husband was uninsurable. And so when he died, he had a very small life insurance policy, because by the time we figured out how life insurance is supposed to work, he wasn't insurable.
Oh, wow.
Yes. So I had a very big story, but it wasn't really my passion, because I wanted to work with many people. I wanted to be able to, because I found that I have the heart of a teacher. And to have a heart of a teacher, I am also a student. That's how I learn. But I'm a leader of leaders. I want to work with leaders.
Yes.
Yes. that's where my passion is. That's where I get really excited and into flow, is the ability to be able to help people on a massive scale.
Mhm.
And so, yes, I know that what I do is important for the one, but I need to be able to help many people. And I want to be able to help people that are leaders to make big changes.
That's that you're tugging at my heartstrings. I can see the two of us definitely working together to set some of the masses free, for
Yeah.
sure. I know that when it comes to purpose, and I talk to people about identifying, discovering their passion, their vision, their dream, and
Mhm.
then figuring out what to do to identify it. Okay,
Yeah.
and they create their own action plan. They go through the action plan, and then they have something tangible. They have their destiny in hand. They bring it to you. They bring that
Well,
to you, and you plug them into where that destiny, it sounds to me like you could help plug them into where they belong, and help them expand even more on who they are and what they were born to do.
with my process, help them find their purpose, but then we also have to identify beliefs, some of the beliefs and biases that
Yes.
may be holding them back from that,
Mhm.
and then we work with the mindset. And belief and mindset are two different things. I'm noticing all too much in the industry that everybody's talking about the mindset.
Yes.
Well, before you can get to the mindset, you got to identify the belief. And you got to know how to change the belief. You have to understand what bias is. And in order to understand
Mhm.
that, you have to go one step further than that. And that is, you have to understand the subconscious. And what I'm talking about is the 6 degrees of time
Good.
that are within the subconscious. And understanding how to make the subconscious your friend in being able to tap into the back office,
It's
you
good.
know, because, understanding how the subconscious works. But then what I do is I want for people to solidify this work with neuroplasticity.
That's a big word.
It is. It is. And this is what's gotten me really excited in being able to help people to make permanent change in their lives, because of the fact that 10 years ago, my husband, we went to the neurologist who said, put your wishes in writing before you can't communicate them because you have brain atrophy. And I'm like, what's this thing called brain atrophy? What
Mm.
is that? You know, can it be fixed? You know? So I went to Dr. Google and looked up brain atrophy. 10 years ago, Dr. Google was saying, we have our brain. Our brain is formed by the time we're 25, and it is what it is. It's like Tupperware. It's formed. How we form it by the time we're 25, that's what you have. And then after 25, it's like it's sitting in the dishwasher and it's just melting until we get to a point where, and that melting is called brain atrophy.
Mm.
And once it happens, too bad, there's nothing you can do about it. Now, I've worked with scientists and professors in the area of the brain and the mind sciences for the last year. And I'm going to quote Dr. Ramsey, who says that we are only actually using 1% of our brain,
Wow.
not 10 like most people, only 1%. We're really only using 1% of our potential.
Mm.
Wow. That's, and that if we learned about neuroplasticity, now what neuroplasticity is that, remember when we were in school and we used to play with plasticine and
Yeah.
we could make new things every day.
Mm-hmm.
Your brain is the same.
Oh,
We just need to create new neural pathways, and that's what I teach people to do
very
in
good.
order to make it so that the changes that you want to make, they stick. You've just created it. It's permanent now, so that then, you can create the brain that you want. You can have it to where, you know, utilizing the subconscious, we use a term called automaticity. Let me ask you, when was the last time you drove your car?
A few days ago.
Okay. Did you think about it?
A little bit because there was snow on the ground. Just a little.
Yeah. But did you think about every time you put your foot on the brake?
Nope.
No. Did you think about every time to put the signal light on?
Nope.
Nope. Did you think about where the buttons were on the dash?
Nope.
Why?
It's in my brain.
That's right. It's automatic.
Mm-hmm.
You already subconsciously know where to find those things.
Muscle memory.
That's right. That's right. So how would you like to have it to where the things that you want to have in your life are that easy that we can put it on automatic by utilizing the subconscious and utilizing the 6 time frames
Mhm.
in being able to tap into that subconscious that's working 24/7 anyway. You just have to give it the problem to solve.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Wow.
then through the neuroplasticity, we make it permanent. Not only that, but also the neuroplasticity allows you to develop that cognitive reserve so that later in your life, you can have more of your faculties later on in life, you know, so
Yeah.
that you can enjoy your life that much longer.
Yeah. Well, I am later on in life, so yes.
Well, then again, I know someone who's 97 years old. He still travels the world, except for
Mm,
COVID. He went to 50 countries before the year before COVID. He
good
skis at
goodness.
97 years old.
Uh-huh.
Yes,
Okay.
yes. And he leads a large organization of 15 million people. So it
Ah,
can be done.
yes.
Yeah.
Good. 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 Wow. Well, let me ask you. Now that I mean that is a lot of information. I'm sure you can
Yes.
see the steam coming out of my ears right now. But the second question that I like to ask each of my interviewees, and yes, you have definitely answered a lot of this, but that is, how did you get there to what you were born to do? Do you have anything to expand on that, or should I go to the next question?
Oh no, I can expand on that.
I thought you might be able to.
I think there's been, um, especially with the one of the first problems I'm wanting to solve with this, and I have a course on burnout that I
Okay.
call the blueprint to build resilience,
Good.
and basically because I'm no stranger to burnout. Um, I was 22 years old. I was running a business. I was managing that had 5 different divisions. And in the 5 year period of time that I did that, I also had 4 children in less than 4 years.
I need a nap after that.
Yeah. And so I'm no stranger to that, you know, and then basically I shut that down because I got to a point where every time the phone rang, it was something else for me to do. And I just,
Hmm.
this feeling of fear would just come up. Oh no, it's the phone, right? Because that was back in the day when to be in business, all you needed was a business card and a phone,
Yeah.
right? Well, then about 15 years later, my husband got diagnosed with 2 chronic illnesses,
Hmm.
and I became his primary caregiver at the same time as I'm working for one of the fourth largest employers in Canada, and teaching university, and and I'm also looking after him.
Yeah.
And so I am no stranger to burnout. And I and and the when I actually was in burnout, and the organization that I was working with, this was after my husband passed away. What did I do after he passed away? Oh, I started another business. So I was working a day job and working a business at night. you know, um, and so I definitely feel as though that when I got into safety, that that was what, in a way, I was kind of born to do,
Mm.
because it brought out that motherhood part of me,
Oh.
that nurturing. And so I find also in my facilitation, and when I'm working with people, it's a way for me to be able to express and be able to teach others, and so it's a way of nurturing. That's part of my purpose. And so I feel as though that now I have the ability to work with the people I want to work with and help them in a much greater way than I ever could have before, especially being that I've walked the walk. And so, who better to understand that much more? Because a lot of people with burnout, there's a lot of misperceptions. I ran a poll on LinkedIn and asked, what's the number one cause of burnout? And 91% of the people said poor work-life balance. In actuality, no, that's not it.
Hmm.
Even though organizationally, when you look at the organizational components of burnout, there are actually 6 passengers on the burnout bus. I use the metaphor of the burnout bus because it's the aspect of having, it's not necessarily the workload, but it's the accumulation of hundreds or thousands of tiny disappointments, each only noticeable on their own. And those 6 passengers that get on that organizational burnout bus is workload. More and more people are doing the work of 4 people.
Yeah.
Yeah. What 4 people were doing 5 years ago were, hey, you have a computer and it can do all these things. No, have you noticed you get on a computer and it's just not one step?
Right.
There's many steps to the process, and I don't know if we blame the IT people for that or what. How many passwords do you have to remember? And how confusing do they need to be?
Hmm.
Right? But then the aspect of community, and especially with us working now more in isolation because we're working at home, how do I have my sense of community now that I'm working from home? We love working from home, but yet at the same time, we need to have that sense that we are part of something greater and that I'm contributing to more of something that makes this important. Then we get into the control. How much control do I have over what I can and cannot do? Do I have any autonomy at all?
Hmm.
Yeah. And then the reward. Do I find it intrinsically rewarding? And when we don't find it rewarding, sometimes we also end up with that other passenger, fairness. Have you ever worked in an organization where you found that the furnace is trying to be the lights?
Furnace. Yeah.
Yeah, I liken it to, what if you think of your house and how it runs, or
Mhm.
even an organization or a bill. I used to do a lot of work with facilities and maintenance and that kind of stuff, and so, is the furnace trying to be the lights?
That's
And
good.
when we liken it to things we understand and apply it to people, oh, I understand now what's happening, right? Because, you know, I'm not going to say that people are like machines, but, you know, when we understand how people work, how the brain works, even, that's even more of an enhancement. And that's why I'm wanting to bring more of an understanding of how the brain works in our life and in business. Because when I understand and can lead my own brain, you know what? Then I'm ready to understand and lead your brain.
Mm-hmm.
And how is it that as a leader, how do I know whether or not I'm harming you neurologically? Not just psychologically, but neurologically.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I've had a lot of bosses who didn't care about damaging me neurologically.
exactly. Exactly. Just get in here and get the work done,
Yep.
right? But the last passenger is values, and this is the two-edged sword. Do I feel valued? Do I feel like I'm a valued part of the team? That's one side of the value sword. But the other side of it is, are my values respected? Is what I'm being asked to do, is it in alignment with my values?
Mm.
Or am I questioning, does the end really justify the means? Just because we want to accomplish this, is the way that we're going, do I think it's right?
Mm-hmm. Wow.
Or I'm being asked to do things that my moral code says, this just isn't quite right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But when we experience burnout, what's happening is within the brain, you end up with a lot of responses, both that are affecting your health, really,
Mm-hmm.
because you have the physical signs, which is like chronic exhaustion, forgetfulness and impaired cognition, chest pain, palpitations, headache, dizziness, fainting, anxiety, depression, anger. That looks like a workplace violence potential for me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And then you've got the emotional side of things, and then also you end up with the ineffectiveness and your lack of accomplishment because you're feeling like you're never able to catch up. The people I've interviewed, some of the responses that I got was, I can't see the forest for the trees. I'm having to compromise and sacrifice my priorities for my family, and I can't seem to look after myself. I always seem to have all these distractions, and you know, and if what I'm doing doesn't work, what are my options? So you're feeling stuck, like I don't have any options.
Wow.
Yeah,
That that's a lot for your students, your clients to
absolutely.
chew on
Yeah,
right
yeah.
there.
And yet the industry, like the cost to the brain though, is the cognitive cost, right? It's affecting you
Yeah.
cognitively.
Yes.
It's impeding your creativity, problem
Mm-hmm.
solving, and your
Mm-hmm.
working memory. But then we get into the health effects as far as distinctive changes in your anatomy and functioning of the brain, turmoil in the regulation of your neuroendocrine system. So your neuroendocrine system basically runs so many different systems in your body. You get high cortisol, coronary heart disease, but then also higher potential for ADHD, Parkinson's, MS, functional neurological disorder, Addison's, addictions, and Alzheimer's. So I think this is an important thing to be looking at in the workplace.
So all of us who bear witness to all of what you've been saying and are going, yikes, that's
Yikes.
me, that's me. Oh, I'm okay there, but these other 14, I'm not so good.
Right.
I guess we all just need to come sit down with you, so to speak, on a Zoom call, have you pick our brains, and we can laugh, we can cry, we can learn some more about ourselves. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
because the isolation that's taking place now in our society, actually worldwide, is crippling.
Yes.
And I've noticed that my interaction with people has been this. than
Mhm.
what we're doing now,
Yep.
and
Yes.
Zoom calls and an occasional, family Zoom or FaceTime,
Mhm.
something like that. But it's not getting out of. I spend a lot
No.
of time in this chair,
Yeah. And it's
and
really hard on the brain.
yeah,
We
it's
are
hard on
not
my
meant to
bottom too. My
communicate
bottom
through
gets sore.
glass. We're
Yes.
not meant to communicate through glass. It is
No.
so hard on your brain
No.
because we have an emotional connection to people when we communicate with them.
Yeah.
I can't it's very hard for me to find that emotional connection.
Hmm.
Why? Because it's so hard to make eye contact with you.
Yeah.
Because where the camera is on the computer.
Uh-huh.
And not only that, but there's an emotional energy that we have when we communicate with each other face to face. And we pick up on body language. Well, what has our body language been like for the last 2 years? The facial expression. Can you see my facial expression?
No.
No, no.
No.
And you're hardly able to see my eyes.
Right.
So, what's that doing to the brain? The brain's saying the communication is broken. I'm not picking up on all the signals.
Right.
And
Right.
so then the brain has to work that much harder. So are we finding that we're going to bed that much more fatigued at the end of 6 Zoom calls? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, because not
Yes.
only are you missing you know, you can see my face, but you're missing that emotions. But not only that, but also there's a difference in the time lag between the audio and the video. And our brains pick up on that. And it's like, wait a minute, this isn't lining up.
Hmm. That's good.
Yeah.
I
So,
have to ask you a question as we move along here a little bit.
mhm.
I I don't know if I asked you this before, but do you have some gift
Oh
that
yes.
oh, do you? Oh yeah. Oh,
Yes.
that was an eyebrow raising. Oh yeah. Okay. Could you tell our viewers, our audience about that? I'm excited about it. I want it
Yeah.
already.
So my gift is a simple toolbox to build resilience. It
That's the
basically
title. A simple toolbox.
yes,
Oh, okay. That gives me hope. If it's simple, I
that's
might be
right.
able to do it.
That's right. Exactly. And if anything, what it does is very simply, not all at once, but you will get a number of tools that are very simple to say, hey, you know, am I in burnout?
Mm,
And also, how, if so, what are some of uh, the tools to help me to get out? Very simply,
that's
but
that's an excellent gift.
it kind of allows you the ability to assess for yourself. Am I there? Am I almost there? But also then has you within like with my blueprint to build resilience, which is actually my full 6 week course
Okay.
where I help people to connect to purpose, increase their productivity, and elevate their emotional engagement. Those are
That's a
the
lot to cover in 6 weeks.
That's right. It is. It is.
Okay.
But then the thing is though is that when you're in burnout, those are the three things that we need to do before we involve like as far as being able to connect those neural pathways because we don't want you building neural pathways in burnout. You don't want a permanent burnout brain.
No.
No. No, so we need to fix the beliefs that got you there, change the mindset that's keeping you there. Not only that, but also work with the emotions and also identify some of the other tools that you need in order to keep yourself out. It was the beliefs that got you there.
Yeah.
So we need to pull up what are those beliefs, those hidden biases, those hidden things that, because we start developing beliefs as soon as we're born.
Yeah.
You know which beliefs those are?
Tell me, tell me, tell me, tell us.
Well, do you have 6 weeks?
So if people,
I'm good, but I'm not that good, Rick.
oh yeah, yeah,
But basically, what the blueprint does, it helps you to adapt, resolve, and emerge more resilient. I call it the R of resilience.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
And I really want to emphasize that resilience is built. You know, when I first started researching and understanding what resilience is, I didn't start out with the problem. I started out with the answer and had to solve for X. And I hate algebra, but you know, so the last 2 years has been about solving for X. Resilience. What is resilience? And I had one friend who, when I told him about that I was researching resilience, and because at that time I was just going to write a book about it, and well, now it's become a full-fledged business
sure,
around resilience. And he says, "Oh, resilience. It's all in how you bounce." Yeah, but what happens when you lose your bounce?
yeah, mm-hmm,
You're finding it hard to bounce back again because of all the little tiny little disappointments. Case in point, I recently heard this story of these hospital employees. The hospital is adjacent to the university campus, so the hospital employees get to use the gym facilities for free and
good,
have free parking to encourage them as an employee perk to be able to go and use the gym in order to keep themselves healthy, so they have better stress reduction and they're healthier, and it also helps them with stress relief.
sure.
Overnight, somebody went in and changed all the signs. So now you have to pay to park.
Oh,
Now, what did that little tiny change all of a sudden overnight? No notice, no nothing. Does this apply to me? I thought this was free. I thought they wanted me to be healthy, and now I have to figure out this problem. So I have one more problem to solve. The brain can end up, it's meant to solve problems, but when we give it too many problems to solve,
yeah,
it gets into burnout. So I have one more problem to solve. Does this affect me? Now I have to find out, where do I go to pay? How much is it going to cost me to pay? So we don't we I find that what we need to start doing is we need to start looking at the impact over the innovation.
yeah. Now,
When we
I'll
implement
tell you what.
change in the organization or in our lives, how quickly are we going to insist that this change has to happen?
Yeah. Now, this is me being confrontational. I'm 6'4" and 200 pounds, and what I would do is I would find out who changed that rule, and I would go storming. That's all caps. I would go
Yes,
storming into that person's office, and I would plant both of my hands on their desk, looking them in the face, and telling them what an idiot they are, and they better change it
yes,
back. Yeah,
yes, and that's
and I
where the
might get
anger
punched,
comes
fine, but
in burnout.
what's that?
Because you're not alone. You're not alone in feeling that way. That's where the anger comes from.
Yes,
That
easily with that. Now you have
yes,
to pay, you dummies. Yeah,
yeah, exactly,
that's mean. That's
exactly,
just
and
mean.
that's the money that I was planning on using for my kids' shoes.
Stat. That's
I'm
you
just
don't need
saying
to
for
put
an
that. You don't need
example.
to put that stinger in it, Pam. That one's gonna hurt. My kid's shoes. Oh my goodness.
That's just what I do. I like to say, how well, how do we apply this in real life?
Yes.
Because we live in real life.
Yes,
And you
that's a tough
see,
place. Real life.
yeah, so I feel as though that there are some misperceptions within the industry. A lot of what the most recommended ways to overcome burnout are, well, just meditate and just breathe, right? Get a support system. Go talk to somebody. Have
Yes.
some therapy.
Well, I'll do that. I do
Change your
that. Yeah.
diet. Get some more sleep. You're
Oh.
just sleep deprived. And you need more social contact. Well, if I have to have contact with more of people like that are already burning me out,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
Well, young lady, you are amazing. You are a fountain of information and inspiration. You got me with steam coming out of my ears and my nose, and I'm just a perpetual either smile or frown. You've made me laugh and cry inside. And as we're winding down here, I have one more question. I did not ask you if I could ask this question, but I would like to, and I know that you in your compassionate heart will answer this, and that is, when it comes to living your best life, our audience's best life, what advice do you have for our viewers, for our audience, to live their best life? And if that has to do with working with you, that's great. But just give us some guidelines there, some more guidelines.
More guidelines.
Or are you giving us lots?
Okay, so is this my final word or just my guidelines?
I think we're closing in on final word.
Okay, okay.
Is
So,
it okay? Is that okay?
yes,
I mean,
yes.
I'm flexible.
Nope, nope. I'm going to give you my acronym for resilience.
Okay.
Resilience, in actuality, to me, is resilience. It's to become silent again. To be kind of in the cone of the storm, if you
Mhm.
will, and yet have it that you've got this inner strength where the storm is blowing around you, your building is basically weaving back and forth, and you've got the inner strength to be able to tell the pillars in your life to stand tall and to stand strong. But yet, where does that resilience come from? How do you get there? In 4 steps. I know we like 5, but I can do it in 4.
Okay.
Okay? And that is number 1, first of all, I call it rest. And when we break down rest, we start with R, meaning the word to replenish.
Mm-hmm.
In the Bible, it talks about to multiply and replenish.
Mm-hmm.
Have you noticed that there is no word called plenish?
You have to replenish. Okay.
That's right. Which means that you are everything you already have, everything that you need in order to reach your fullest potential. You don't need to add anything. You just need to replenish what you have already
It's good.
and build upon what you already have.
Mm-hmm.
So looking outside of yourself to find the next latest and greatest thing, no, you need to build on what you already have. You
Agreed.
already have a divine potential.
Mm-hmm.
We need to replenish it.
Yes.
So the E stands for emotional need.
Mm-hmm.
And that means to acknowledge and to meet our emotional need.
Okay.
Because any behavior that we have usually stems from an emotional need. And so when we meet that need, then we can more easily change the behavior.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, the S stands for silence. The world is a noisy place.
Mm-hmm. I thought you were going to say annoying, but noisy. Yes.
Maybe you're in burnout. I'm kidding. I'm kidding, Rick. Anyway, so everything we learned about being successful, we actually learned in school, in kindergarten. You
Yeah.
notice how they had us actually take like nap time?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I'm going to actually be challenging people in the workplace to say, is a 15-minute break long enough for the brain?
Hmm.
Maybe we need to look at how we break from our work, from what we consider work,
Mm-hmm.
by either having a break, like go out and take a walk, or do I move on to something that where I get to be very creative in order to give my brain a rest from work,
Okay.
from what it considers work into things it doesn't consider work, which is flow.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then the last one is T, and that is true. True to our purpose, being that the two best days of our lives are the day that we're born and the day that we realize and can stand true to our purpose.
Okay. That's deep, deep, deep,
Yeah.
deep. Yeah, that's all. That's all the way up to here.
Yeah. Hopefully not here.
Yeah.
I didn't want to submerge anybody, but
Yeah. Okay. Oh, good stuff. And,
thank you.
anything else you want to share, just briefly, or are we done for today? I mean, you have given us so much to chew on, and
Uh-huh.
and to plenish. Replenish. Yes, I like that. I'm going to remember that. I have so many things to remember. This is the truth now. All you guys who are listening, I'm going to go back and I'm going to watch and I'm going to listen to Pam again, and I'm going to take some notes. That wasn't my job today to take notes. My job was to bring out who Pam is and what she was born to do, to be able to help you. Now, if you want to be able to check her out again, and especially when you get her free gift and you get through that, then a lot of what she has just told us today is going to go, boo, oh, I get it now. And two things. Become do a VIP upgrade so that you can watch and listen to her and all of our other speakers on this Achieve Your Dream Summit. Do the VIP upgrade so that you have access forever and ever, amen, to these teachings. And the second thing is to contact this lovely lady and get in a conversation with her. Talk about you. Let her guide you. Take her course. Do whatever you know in your knower. You know that you need what she knows. Is she an expert? Yes. Can she help you? Yes. Do you want to take that next step, or 2 years, 5 years, 10 years? Are you going to be in exactly the same place, doing exactly what you're doing right now? And you know that you don't have any resilience, that you're just that bouncing ball that Pam talks about, that it's deflated. It won't bounce anymore. It might be half full. It might be just totally deflated and on the floor, and you're stepping on it and stepping over it all the time. You may need, and you do need, whether you realize it or not, we all need to talk to Pam. We do need to talk to Pam and let her, in her wisdom. I mean, when you listen to her, she has spent years and years and years. What are you, 85 now? Yeah. She spent years and years and years
Some people think
accumulating.
that I think beyond my years, yes.
Oh, of course you do. Yes, that wisdom. It's sometimes we gain wisdom and then we lose it, but I think it's all stuck with Pam. So do yourself a favor and go through her free course, which is very generous of her, and then figure out a way to get some more of what's in that marvelous heart and brain of Pamela Cowan. I know it'll be worth your while. I intend to work with her. I've got some people that I believe she can help greatly, and I will be proud to send them to her. That's the way we're supposed to work. We're supposed to be of service to each other. So I think we're done. Any closing comments, or shall we smile and call it a day?
We can smile and call it a day, and not necessarily just call it a day, but to make this day the very best, knowing that this too shall pass,
Yeah.
that this day will pass. So
Yeah.
no matter how bad this day is, it's going to pass.
Yeah. Well, it's been a good one for me.
Yes.
And everybody who listens and watches, you and what you have to share. And wow, they're going to have a blessed day. They're going to have a blessed day.
I
So,
hope so.
all righty.
That's my
All
goal.
right.
I want to bless people's lives.
Yes, yes. And so do I. So we have a lot to talk about.
Yes,
We have a
do.
lot in common. I'm just a lot older than you. I'm the ancient one. Yeah, and supposedly I have ancient one wisdom, and you have much younger wisdom. So we'll couple up on that and see if we can be of service to thousands of people. That sound like a plan?
Awesome. Yes.
All
That
righty.
would be
Well,
awesome.
until
Thank
our
you.
next video, or until you upgrade to VIP and get to watch this lady again, be blessed, and thank you for watching.
Thank you.